Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our broadcast today. The internationally renowned immigration attorney Margaret Wong has just published a book, The Immigrant's Way. It is a new book that covers the gamut from immigration history to the legal process of immigration in this country. Well, she's here with us this morning. Also, we will hear from Terrace Burns and Valerie Hicks about the work of Adoption Network Cleveland. Good morning again. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we beginning with one of the good people we know here in Greater Cleveland here, one of my friends, Margaret Wong, immigration attorney, author, all of that. Margaret Wong, good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, it's good to have you on the broadcast today. You deal a lot with immigration. That's primarily your business as an attorney. We are seeing much more immigration concerns, aren't we, in this country?
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think? Do we have a handle on it now? Do we know where we want to go regarding immigration?
I think this administration is a lot better than the last administration. For example, the Haiti problem just happened 2 days ago, and already this morning, the government already announced we will stop deportation of all Haitian nationals to Haiti. On the other hand, though, they will not release the deportable Haitians from jail if they're already in jail. But if they were not in jail, they will not put them in jail now.
Certainly.
Right. And then they probably will grant TPS, temporary protection status, for the Haitian people so they could work and send money home to support their loved ones who may have passed away.
There is the American government is saying there's no need to send these folks back to Haiti because there is so little to send them back to.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things. How did you find your way into immigration law as an attorney?
I actually lucked out. I graduated from Buffalo Law School, New York State. Actually, I'm the co-chair now on their capital campaign, so I'm proud of that. But when I graduated in 1976, there's really very little Asian foreign-born lawyers. And also I'm Chinese, I speak with an accent. And I had quite a few jobs, but it's never really satisfying. So I started on my own in '77.
I'm intrigued. In your book called The Immigrant's Way, written for all immigrants, and as you say on the cover, written by an immigrant. You immigrated to this country yourself.
Yes.
Well, when did you come here?
I came in 1969, right at the height of the Vietnam era. And Leon, of all people, you remember in '64, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act,
right.
And in '65, the Quota Act quietly slipped in to allow people of color and people of different Eastern countries come to America. And the Korean War in '52 to '54, and if you look at nowadays all the books, a lot of these books were written by Korean second generations.
Right.
On the other hand, if you look at the Filipino children, they're already onto the third and fourth generation, because they're the allies of America after 45 in Philippines.
That had everything to do with it, huh?
That's right.
Being an ally in 1945. What do you want immigrants coming to America to take away from? What will this book do for them?
It really gives them 3 pointers. Number one, to give people like us a lot of faith and hope. There's always something inherent about foreign-borns, be it I came when I was 3 years old or I came when I was 12 years old, that there's something not enough. There's something, we came to have a greater life, to have a better life, to be a legal immigrant, to become a citizen of America. And somehow we're just not happy. So I want to give people faith and hope. The second point is that it talks about the history of different immigrants. And America really is all foreign-borns. If you look at all the new books coming out, New York, the novel that's on sale now in Costco, Gladwell wrote Outliers, What the Dogs Saw. I love him as a writer. So he wrote about all these people who are great in America. Like Google was started by an immigrant. Nipos or whatever is started by immigrant.
Right.
So the third point is to allow people and to tell them how to become legal. don't just become an illegal or undocumented and go underground.
You want to come in and be on the record books,
yes,
so that you're not looking over your shoulder as you walk around and live in the United States of America. You use the words foreign-born over the word alien. Why do you do that?
Because foreign-born connotes success, happiness, because I'm a foreign person. The world now is increasingly becoming global. If you look at every day, the Plain Dealer in the morning, New York Times in the morning, Wall Street Journal in the morning, you see the world is really the countries border, like European EU, European Union,
yes,
they became euros. They used euros instead of French francs, Italian money, Spanish money, and everybody, even Poland now. Remember in Cleveland in 86, 87, we have a lot of sailors from Poland who jumped ship, and we got them asylum.
I covered those stories.
That's right. Nowadays, it's like 20-some years later, when these people becoming citizens, Poland not only became non-communist, the EU. America needs to do something to become a continent with Canada and Mexico, just like the Eastern Bloc, like Indonesia, China, Malaysia, Japan, they're all getting together. We cannot be isolated in this country.
Okay. Well, we're talking to Margaret Wong. She's going to be with us for 2 segments. She's going to be with us for the next segment. By the way, I'll put a number on the screen where you can contact Margaret Wong's office. It's Margaret Wong and Associates. It is 566-9908 in the 216 area code, as you see at the bottom of the screen, or you can go to imwong.com, imwong.com for more information. We continue our discussion with Margaret. When I come back, I want to ask you about President Obama's aunt. You're working on that case, and we'll talk about some other things about the process of becoming a U.S. citizen. We'll take a break. Back in just a moment. Welcome back to the broadcast today. I'm talking with immigration attorney Margaret Wong, who has an office in Cleveland. You've got offices in Boston, Atlanta, and Columbus as well.
And New York.
And New York, of course. Good to have you with us. Let's talk a little bit about the process of becoming a U.S. citizen. If you could just give us perhaps a 30-second capsule report on how to become a U.S. citizen.
Actually, immigration law is a lot of fun. It's really a common sense. There are only 2 types of human beings in America. You are either an American citizen or you are a foreign national, a foreign-born. So if you're a U.S. citizen, how do you become U.S. citizen? You're either born here. Unlike in China, you have to be blood. Like, I'm yellow, so I'm Chinese. Even though I'm American now, in China, they still see you as Chinese. Unlike in America, you're born here or American embassies overseas, then you are a American citizen. So America is really a wonderful country.
In China, you have to be blood.
Has to be blood.
If I became a citizen of China,
never.
I would never be called Chinese.
No. They would never accept you.
They would not accept me.
Right. They may think I'm Western, but I'm still a Chinese.
But you're still Chinese. I understand. Yes. But so that's the difference between our government and other governments, some of the other governments around the world. 9/11 certainly changed a lot of things. How did that affect immigration law?
On the books, it really did not affect it as much. But the practice has been affected. For example, they started registration of all people from the Arabic countries, like from Syria, Lebanon, Saudi. These people have to go through a registration process. And it's really sort of not fair because in the meantime, the passport is marked with a PIN number. It's weird because if you open their passport, there's a number there.
Yes.
And that's their registration number. And a lot of times, and again, the Middle East law is different from here because in 1948, Palestine, they had a big war, and then Israel and then Egypt made peace. So a lot of the the former Palestinians now became Jordanians. They were they were persecuted until the new queen now is Palestinian herself. So there's really no more asylum for them. So they're really stateless. But in the eyes of American immigration law, these people are Jordanians. But in their own eyes and mind, they're really Palestinians. But then in their passport, they'll say Jordanians.
So you have to deal with all of this. You know, deal with only the legal aspects, but what a person may think about where he or she is from, or who he or she may be.
Sometimes they will say, oh, never, they're born in Jerusalem, but Jerusalem could be Arabic or Israeli. So sometimes I would ask them, because I don't know, I'm Chinese, so I would ask, are you Israeli or Arabic? They'll look at me like, I'm Christian. I'm like, whoa, 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 I'm not. I just need to know. That's right.
So there's a whole lot. There's a great deal to the process, is what you're telling. Let me ask you, we're running out of time. I want to get a couple of other things. You represented the aunt of President Obama. Where do we stand on that case right now?
We just have a trial on February 4th, and things will be doing very well on her case. She's a wonderful lady, and she's charming, intelligent,
and
fun.
From
Kenya. Yeah.
Will stay in this country?
Absolutely.
You're going to make sure of that?
Yes.
You're working that case.
It's my job.
By the way, Margaret's phone number is 216-566-9908. You can get in touch with her. She handles all kinds of issues regarding immigrants and immigration law. How does media coverage of immigration influence our attitudes?
I ask the audience to close your eyes and think about, if you close your eyes and visualize, what does an immigrant, a foreign-born, look like? You probably think someone who looks Latino, who's a Mexican. But if you look at it, Latino has Brazil. Brazil is the leading money of the Latino countries now. Venezuela, you have Chavez, who's really, depends on who you're pro of. So it's really not fair how the media treats, I think, the foreign-borns.
We could do a better job. We could do a better job of all of that, right?
Yes.
What have you determined as you deal with people from all over the world? Most of those who are coming to this country, the vast majority of those, want to be in America. They want to love America and become American citizens. What does that tell you about this government?
I love my job. I always tell my husband I don't need to travel. I don't need to go to airports. I just have to sit in my office, listen to the stories of my clients, and listen to their hardship, and I felt I've traveled.
Do you call upon your own experiences as an immigrant to the United States in 1969 to help those who come to your office?
Absolutely, because as a lawyer, you really have to know what your constituent want. If you do estate law, you need to understand how the rich think. They don't want to pay tax, or they don't, they want to save, whatever. If you do criminal work, I'm not saying they're criminals, but they really have to understand a mind who may or may not have done something. As an immigrant, we have to understand what they want.
Well, certainly we will be talking more about immigrants who are coming to this country. We will be talking more about what's going on in Haiti as that story continues to unfold, and Haitians who will certainly be coming to this country. And we will also be keeping in mind that Margaret Wong has written a wonderful book. It's called The Immigrant's Way, For All Immigrants by an Immigrant, written by Margaret Wong, who is an attorney here in Cleveland handling mostly immigration law, but with offices in New York and Atlanta and Boston and Columbus.
Thank you.
Good to have you on the broadcast, Margaret. Always good to work with you. Good to see you. Be well, my friend.
Thank you.
Be well. Be well.
Thank you. And you too.
Log on to newsnet5.com each week on Kaleidoscope to see what's coming up. Next, we are going to talk about the Adoption Network. I'm Leon Good. We return after this. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope. Adoption Network Cleveland is a local organization providing programs and services to those touched by adoption. Program Director Valerie Hicks and Adoption Navigator Tara Burns are here to talk more about the agency and its mission. Valerie Hicks sitting next to me, Program Director. Good to have you with us. And Tara Burns, good to have you here as well. Let's begin with you, Valerie. What is Adoption Network Cleveland?
Adoption Network Cleveland is an organization whose mission is to empower and connect families, individuals, organizations, and communities, and to assist them in terms of meeting the needs of those who've been touched by adoption.
The need is great, I would imagine.
The need is tremendous.
For adoption?
For adoption, but particularly for the need of older children and sibling groups.
What age groups when you say older children? We're
thinking of children 12 and up. We have a tremendous need for children that are homes for children that are 17 and even 18 years old, because we know that all children need to be connected and to belong to a family. And that need extends far beyond the age of 18.
All racial groups, all ethnic groups?
Certainly there's a need for homes for all racial groups and ethnic groups, but we find that there is a greater need for homes for African American children. There is a disproportionate number of African American children who wind up in the system, and therefore those children need to find a permanent home. Our county, Cuyahoga County, has been tremendous in terms of looking at that particular challenge and working with the community to find some unique programs such as those offered by Adoption Network Cleveland to find permanent homes for those children.
Terrace Burns, you're an adoption navigator. What's that mean?
I work with families who are in different stages of the process of adopting, from initial inquiry, families to call that are interested in adopting, and I explain the process to them, how to get started. We work with families who have already adopted and just offer support to those post-adoption families.
You navigate them. You guide, you help guide them through the system.
Through the process, answering questions that they may have, helping them understand.
The successes that you've had have certainly changed the lives of people who have adopted, along with the child who was adopted as well. Does that bring joy to your heart?
It does. It really does, because I'm an adoptee myself. So I have experienced a lot of the challenges of being an adoptee, and can explain, what families are going, or can help understand what families are going through.
You and I were chatting just before we started this broadcast. You even went for a search for your birth mother.
I did. I found my birth mother through the Adoption Network. And that has been a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Very rewarding.
Very rewarding. My adoptive mom passed away in 1996. So between that time and when I found my birth mother in 2008, that was a hard time. It was a difficult time. So finding her has been really good. She's, just come into my life as, as if she never kind of left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can see. Well, that's a wonderful story. Let's get back to Valerie. What are the challenges facing prospective adoptive parents?
Well, certainly knowing the process, understanding what they need to do and when they need to do it. And that is one of the reasons why Adoption Network is such a unique and special service to this community. We are not an adoption agency. Although adoption is in our name, we're not an adoption agency. We're an organization whose charge is to support those who have been touched or impacted by adoption and foster care. The special challenges are finding that particular person, that home that has the ability to connect with a child that's older and to provide them with a nurturance and loving, stable community that they can grow into.
So you don't handle the adoption. You just kind of get all of the pieces to the puzzle connected.
Exactly. The services that we provide are there to help guide families through the process, as Terrace explained to you, but also after families have adopted, they have a tremendous need for support. And so we provide post-adoption services to families in Cuyahoga County and throughout northeastern Ohio to help them understand how best to meet the needs of their children. What are the grief and loss issues that these children may face? What are some of the school and educational issues that these children face? One of the services that we provide is an educational liaison who can work with adoptive families to make sure that the educational needs of these older children are amended to.
And as a navigator, Terrace Burns, you help you help in this process, helping folks navigate through this, through all of this. I want to put a phone number on the screen. It is 325-1000. You can get more information from the Adoption Network. It's called Adoption Network Cleveland, or you can go to adoptionnetwork.org. You can get more information on everything we've been talking about. Terrace, have attitudes changed about adoption over the last 10, 20, 25 years?
I think they have. Just in the time that I've been at Adoption Network, I think a lot of the things that we do, we work closely with Cuyahoga County and the things that they do to kind of help promote adoption awareness. And I've seen just from the families that I talk to, just some of the individual changes in the thoughts. People are more willing to accept older
and certainly
kids.
That, as Valerie said at the top of this interview, the need is great and the need is there.
And the need is there.
And
yes.
you're a living example of successes that can be found with adoptions.
Yes.
And that's what you do for a living. Try to get these folks all linked up and get these children adopted.
Absolutely. One of the programs that we're most proud of is our child-centered recruitment partnership with the Department of Children and Family Services, in which we use unique processes and tools to find homes for those older children and for those sibling groups.
So if somebody out there is thinking about adoption, if they were to call your office, you could get them on that road. You could provide a roadmap for them and a route to go.
Absolutely. Yes. Adoption is a lifelong journey.
You will agree with that?
Yes.
Lifelong journey?
Yes, it is. Yes,
okay.
It is.
Well, the phone number is 216-325-1000. That's to the Adoption Network Cleveland. We've been talking with Valerie Hicks, its program director, as well as Terrace Burns, an adoption navigator and an adoptee herself.
An adopted parent as well.
And an adopted parent as
yes.
well. What
yes.
a wonderful story you both have told. Thanks for being on the broadcast with us.
Thank you.
Log on to Newsnet5.com each week to see what's coming up on Kaleidoscope. Up next, my good friend Marcia Maccabee of the Urban League offers her thoughts on where we are today after we do this first. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope. With me is Marcia Maccabee, the Urban League president here in Greater Cleveland. Good to see you, Marcia.
Hi, Leon. How are you this morning?
Okay.
Good. Leon, today, with all of the discussions about health care is really on the mind of the Urban League. It's a big national issue, and it's certainly on our mind as well. And as a result, the National Urban League has developed a prescription savings card program that is available through all the local affiliates. And, of course, here in Cleveland, that includes us as well. So one of the things we want to offer to our folks in the community is the opportunity to receive this prescription savings card. It is not insurance, and it does not replace insurance. So if you already have, you're blessed to have health insurance, use what you have. If you're not insured, or you have prescriptions that are not covered by your current insurance, then this can be very helpful to you.
And this card, all people have to do is get in touch with the Urban League, and
exactly.
This will help cover some of the costs of prescription medicines.
Absolutely.
And the phone number at the Urban League, as you see at the bottom of the screen, is 216-622-0999. More information on all of that.
Absolutely.
Helping families will cover the cost of medicine and try to stay healthy as well as we can.
Absolutely. Okay, and then just really quickly, another thing that's available is a wonderful consumer report that is free, that actually covers all kinds of information about safe, effective, and affordable prescriptions, and it takes a look at 200 of the top-selling medications and sort of rates them for people and gives them information so they can make good decisions about which prescriptions are best and so forth.
And where can you get this in the next 5 seconds?
You can get it free at the Urban League by calling our 6220999 number and asking for a copy. As long as they last, we'll provide them free.
Thank you, Marcia. That's going to do it. We'll say so long.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.